Good evening. My name is Donald Tucker. I'm the president of the Springdale Athletic Foundation, and we have the privilege of hosting the Springdale Athletic Hall of Fame. Every year is one of the biggest events for us. We look forward to it every single year. It's kind of where we get to show off and host a bunch of great athletes and listen to some great stories. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Springdale Athletic Foundation, kind of what we do and what our purpose is. Our purpose is to support district athletics in Springdale. So we raise money, we buy equipment, we buy gear, we buy food, we buy cleats, all that to help the kids in our district. And we do that, we try to raise money to do that. There's over 4,000 student athletes in the district in Springdale. 250 coaches, 164 sports teams in our district. It's a very large district, and they need a lot of help. That's where we come in, we do that. So if I can take a moment, I would like to introduce the board. If you would, board, please stand when your name is mentioned. Dusty Graham, the back corner. Zach Penalto. Simeon Henson, Elizabeth Sullivan, down here somewhere. There she is in the back corner. And Keith Emble. There's some others I'd like to recognize. The Superintendent of Springdale Public Schools, Dr. Jared Cleveland. We appreciate you guys being here. We've got a lot of fun things to do. I'm going to let you guys eat. Then we'll bring people up and start recognizing them for their accomplishments. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys being patient with us. Right now we have emceeing tonight is the voice of the Springdale Bulldogs, Mr. Zach Arms.
Well, good evening. How's everybody doing? I said good evening. There we go. Well, we want to welcome you to the Springdale Athletic Foundation's 2023 Hall of Fame induction. This is one of my favorite events that we have every year because we get to hear some great stories. Some of you will have heard some of them, some of you will not. I'll do my best to kind of get in and get out. We got 9 inductees, and Donald, it died. It happened last year. I swear, I asked him. You think it's me? Does it work? Okay. I told Donald before I came here. Now? Okay, I'm just going to keep it quiet. Every few words. And thank you, Janice. I don't know what the problem is. Talk louder? I'm going to have to. Yeah. How about now? Okay. Can everybody hear me okay? So we're going to get this thing. It's back. All right, we'll run with this for now. Good? All right. As I was saying, welcome to the Springdale Athletic Foundation's 2023 Hall of Fame inductions. We're glad to have you here. We've got a bunch of great inductees that we're gonna hear from here shortly. We're gonna hear some great stories, so we'll just sit back, relax. We'll get things started. First inductee tonight is a 1994 graduate of Springdale High School. He is Springdale through and through, went to Central Junior High School, started as a tight end and defensive end. When he got to be a Bulldog, he played football and basketball for Coach Gerald Williams. All-State in 1993. He was All-Conference in 1993. A member of the current Dream Team and named the 1993 Outstanding Bulldog. Andy Downham played 1 year at Arkansas Tech, finished in Virginia 2001, and his Master of Arts in Teaching in I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. Andy Downham.
It's kind of fitting that me and 2 other former Bulldogs got to coach a 6th grade football game today inside Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium. And won 20-0, put us at 5-0 in the conference. How about that? I'd like to give special thanks to the Johnsons, Robert, Michelle, and Tim Power for the nomination, and then to the board for being crazy enough to pick me. I want to give thanks to my wife, Maverick, my two sons, Chase and Jack. I want to give thanks to my mom, Linda, and my dad, Ted, and my sister, Sarah, for driving me around all those practices all those years. I want to give thanks to my brothers for being a mentor and teaching me everything I know. I want to give thanks to all my coaches, all those guys right over there, the ones that actually got to coach me, the ones I got to work with. You guys were a major influence in my life, and I appreciate you more than I can tell you. I want to give special thanks to Coach Hartsfield and Coach Williams. Coach Hartsfield is the reason I'm in education right now. He talked me into getting into joining his coaching staff in 1997. Coach Williams did everything he could to make sure I got to play college ball. Back then, recruiting was a completely different deal. So there was no internet. There was no huddle where you put all your highlights on there where everybody could see it. We had VHS tapes. We'd send them off. You never even knew what was on tape half the time. Coach would ask me, say, what game you want to sit on? I say, Coach, it's not that Russellville game. That was statistically my best game. I had 3 or 4 catches, like 15 tackles. But I never got any phone calls of it. Never could figure it out. So I went back and watched that game when I was older and realized I missed 10 tackles. I got pancaked 5 times and dropped 5 balls. One time, like I said, it was completely different back then. When you were getting recruited, these small schools, they would come into town and they were like carpool together. Like 3 or 4 schools come in, they go to Fayetteville, Rogers, whatever, they come to Springdale. Coach Williams had them come in to see me one weekend. And it was a Sunday. So all these schools were coming in, they were at Fayetteville earlier, they were coming to see me. And I get there about 11 o'clock at the field house, it's just Coach Williams. For you guys that know Coach Williams, he's scary. Okay? So I walk in, he barely says anything to me, I go sit in the corner, it's just me and him. He sits there and reads the paper. Never said a word to me. So for 30 minutes, nobody's there with me and Coach, and I'm just sitting there in the corner. Sure enough, these guys finally show up, thank God. They come walking in, and they come in and they start talking. There's like 12 of them. About 20 minutes goes by. They're all talking. They have a good old time. And finally one goes, hey, Coach, where's this big stud you've been telling us about? Coach goes, they all turn and look. Coach told me I was 6'5", 235. There I was, all 6'2", 170 in the corner. Now, one thing I can do as a player is I can catch. It would be a football, baseball, basketball, whatever. I can catch things. The problem was, it's something I never told my coaches. Up till about 20, when I had surgery on my eyes, I was blind as a bat. I had about a 10 to 12 yard radius, and I couldn't see anything past that. I don't need that. Is it back? They're back. So anyways, Jimmy Baker was the quarterback my senior year, and he could throw it 60 yards. And unfortunately for me, all my routes were deep. Okay, when you can't see, it is hard to catch a ball. So I would run my route, and I'd look back. Jimmy, he was like number 2, and I could kind of make out, there he is, there's a 2. He'd throw it, and that's when the fun began. I'd look up. The next thing you know, the ball appeared, and I'd run over and catch it. I made a lot of unnecessary diving catches because I couldn't adjust the ball until I got right on it. We were playing Springdale my senior year, and West Coast and I would start inside linebackers, and about second quarter, West broke his helmet. I think he got hurt because he was kind of a big sissy. So anyways, West made all the calls. Coach Winberry, he's signaling him in, you know, and West makes the call, we break the huddle. Well, West is gone, so the play call goes to me. I get up there and walk inside and we'll call plays. We're playing at Razorback Stadium. It was a cold night. It was hazy. I look over the sideline and realize I can't see anybody. I don't even know which one Coach Winberry is. So I look over there and kind of do this. And I start running a little closer. Still can't see. The coach is over there giving signals. And I run a little closer. So finally, I get close enough where I can see him. His face is just as red as he can be. He goes, "Take it down, don't you know the signs?" I said, "Coach, I can't see." So I turn around. He goes, "Just run slant. Dadgummit, slant." I turn around. Of course, the guys already broke the huddle and they're ready to go because they could see the signs. So I talked back out there. My junior year, the cool thing is I can play with my cousin. Now, when you grow up with your cousin who's 6 months older than you are, you do everything together. You play ball. So we roll in. Brad ends up being the start quarterback, and I'm the start tight end. Well, when you're the receiver and your cousin's quarterback, you're thinking, I'm going to catch 50 balls this year because he's going to throw it to me every play. The problem was, Coach only called 20 pass plays all season, and Brad tucked him around 15 of them. So, when you're a receiver, Baber knows this, you're always open. So nobody can cover you. When you go out, you're always open. So I told Brad, I said, hey, I am open on this. Throw me the daggone ball. So I hammered him enough, and the Rogers game comes around, and he got it stuck, and he said, I'm going to throw it to you on this play. No matter what we call this play, I'm going to throw it to you, no matter what. He hadn't done it to me all season. We're halfway through the year. Call that play, he rolls around there. He turns, he's looking for me. I see him, I'm like, hurry. Of course, I'm wide open. Brad turns, whoo, sails it over my head, gets picked off. We go back to the sideline, he looks at me and goes, I'm never throwing to you again. So, luckily, he forgot that. He threw me a couple touchdown passes later in the year. So, I was talking to Dusty the other day, and it reminded me of a story of, he used to give us these award stickers, and we called them dogs. So we put these things on our helmet. Now, Coach was stingy with these things. He wouldn't give them to you or anything. You got to score a touchdown, interception, whatever. He didn't like giving those things out. Luckily enough, I went both ways, so I had plenty of opportunities. So I could get 2 or 3 games. Well, we're playing Northside, and they had this kid named Fred Perry who ended up playing for the Baltimore Ravens. So we walk in film session on Monday, and Coach walks in. He goes, man, 41 is going to be in the NFL someday. You knock him down, I give you 4 dogs, 4 dogs. Sorry, Coach, that wasn't very good. So I get all excited, you know. We had this play, this wingback trap we'd run where I'd pull and I'd lead up on the linebacker. Sure enough, about the second quarter, they finally call that play. Left formation 23 trap. Here we go. I'm about to hammer this guy. So play starts. I roll around and I pull up. Sure enough, there he is waiting on me. And I mean, I hit that dude as hard as I could. Well, the next thing I know, I'm waking up on my back, looking up at the stars, and I look over at Josh Strong, the wingback's laying right next to me. So I get up and we go back to the huddle, and I say, Josh, what happened? He goes, well, you got knocked on your ass, and then he knocked me on my ass. I said, I hope we don't run that play again. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a true honor. This is unbelievable. Thank you.
I guess I should have warned all the Bulldogs that I'm during games, so I tend to tell old stories. So Andy, guess what? You'll be the subject of my Friday. Our next inductee is a 1979 graduate of Springdale High School. Kenny Stevenson started the Bulldogs in 78 and 79. He's being inducted tonight for meritorious service, not just to Springdale High School, but all right, not just to Springdale High School, but to the city of Springdale. You can find Kenny at a ball field anywhere, any day. Very involved in Kiwanis Kids Day, youth baseball across the city of Springdale. Better? Oh, I like this. Here, take that. All right. You can find Kenny at any ball field in Springdale. Everyone called him Coach. Kenny was very into charities, mostly motorcycle charities, Toys for Tots, and organizing poker runs across the city. Sadly, Kenny passed away in 2020, and anyone who knew him loved him. Tonight, accepting for Kenny Stevenson is his sister, Janice Walden.
Thank you very much for this. This means so much to me and my mom and my husband. Donald, thank you very much for being the one that nominated me. And thank you to the Springdale Hall of Fame and to all the coaches and teachers and everyone else was a big clown, and he was a jokester, and anybody that knew him knew that. One of the posts on his obituary page was that Kenny was Springdale through and through, and he really was. He lived and he breathed Springdale and supported and contributed to sports his entire life. If there was a game, he was either coaching, reffing, or watching. He loved coaching. He coached Kiwanis, Kids Day, Little League, softball. If it involved kids in sports, you could find him there. He had an amazing talent for connecting with every child. He would get to know them, and it was obvious and genuine just how much he really did care for them. He figured out how to bring out the best in every child and help them succeed. No kid left behind. That's the way he felt, no kid left behind. Every kid played, and he was one of the most winning coaches. Every kid wanted to be on his team, and every parent wanted their kid on his team. I think he related to him so well because he was such a big kid at heart. He never really grew up. His personality lit up a room. His laugh was infectious. Just hearing it made you laugh. I really miss that laugh. Thank you again. You guys will never know how much this means to me and my mom and my husband. He was a really special man. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're on your way up, please be careful. It is treacherous getting up there. Our next inductee is a 3-year letterman in both baseball and football at Springdale High School. Russ Greenlee was 3-year starter at defensive back. He was an Arkansas Democrat Gazette Sophomore Defensive Player of the Year in 2003, All-State in 2004, All-Conference in 2005, and a state champion with the Springdale Bulldogs. He was also a 2-year starter as a second baseman on the Springdale baseball team in 2004 and 2005. He was All-Conference in 05 and 06, and is the single-season home run record leader for the Bulldogs. After finishing his time at Springdale High School, he went to the University of Arkansas and studied finance and banking. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Hall of Fame 2006, graduate of Springdale High School, Russ Greenlee.
Thank you very much. It's an honor and a pleasure to be up here tonight. I'm thankful to be nominated by whoever the very nice individual that nominated me was. Thanks for voting me in to the board. There's a long list of names of people that have coached and influenced my life. First start with parents, family, and support network. Dad coached us when we were young. All the way up into high school, baseball mostly. When I was 15 years old, playing with the big boys, my mommy was the one dropping me off all the practices and games and whatever else it was. I can go back to Coach Baker, 8th grade at Southwest. A lot of memories with him. My wife and I bumped into him at a racetrack game years ago. We won a game, I think it was at one of the Rogers schools. We played a team that we should have beat handily. We won 9 games that year, but we only won by a couple of points. Well, after the game, we had some guys that were, sliding around, acting like fools. Coach Baker, in his fashion, after the game, we shake hands. He said, "Boys, we're going to run." So we go behind whatever stadium it was in Rogers. And it was raining, pouring rain, and we ran sprints. And, at the time, it sucks. It's not fun. But when you grow older, you appreciate those things and those moments on learning how to win, learning how to do things the right way. So at the time, I said, hey coach, thank you for teaching us how to do things right. Coach Matthews was ninth grade football coach at Southwest. I'm sure everybody in here knows him. He was awesome. If you can't have fun with Coach Matthews, you're not going to have fun at anything in life. That man is very special, and he can make pulling teeth fun. When I was in ninth grade, I was practicing with the varsity team at the high school in football. I was talking to Coach Matthews, and I was kind of frustrated. I felt like I had some talent, I could do some things, and they had me playing some positions I didn't want to play. And I sat down and I talked to Coach Matthews, and he goes, the best advice that I have for you would probably be to quit football and baseball and play golf. And, in Coach Matthews' fashion, he brings light and laughter to any situation. But next, Coach Mal's on. He believed in me a lot. He gave me a chance to play on the varsity team when I was a sophomore. I can remember sitting in his office. He calls me in one day. It's the middle of the summer, and he goes, you're looking at being our starting defensive back. And I was like, Coach, it's awesome. I worked my butt off and everything. And he goes, I just want you to know, every team that we play is going to see this little 5'9". The program said 175 pounds. I think it was more like 160. But he goes, every team's going to have you circled. You go to target your back. Everybody's coming after you. Of course, I said, Coach, I'm up to it. I'm excited about this. I'm so appreciative of him for being brave enough to give me that opportunity. Coach McGinnis and his family. I played baseball with Coach's son, Will. I think he's from 8 years old, all the way through high school. There was probably a point in my life where Coach McGinnis was probably around me more than any adult that I'd ever been around. So, what an awesome guy you are. Glad I got to spend a lot of time with you. Assistant coaches, there's a long list of guys, and maybe I'll miss some, but, I sat down and I was thinking of names that kind of influenced me. Don Strubing, don't know if he's here or not. Rob Wright, junior high football. Coach Friesen, Dustin Hellkamp, Coach Winberry, Kevin Johnson, Coach Ware, Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones was my position coach in high school. I think I was probably his personal project when I was a sophomore. And Andy Downham reminded me last night when we were at the game. He coached when we were in school. I got to go over on the scout team. It was a lot of fun. Between Andy and Coach Mo Henry, had a lot of fun with those guys over the years. I'll move on, talk a little bit about playing time. I always wanted to be a quarterback. That was just what I wanted to do. That's what my dad did. That's what I felt like was right for me. I'm sure everybody in here knows this guy named Mitch Mustang. He moved to town, I think, when we were in 7th or 8th grade. I really don't know why anybody played him, to be honest with you. But Mitch is a great friend of mine, and that dream of playing quarterback was gone, obviously, with him coming to town. So, reality set in for me, and thankfully in football, I had a chance to be a starting defensive back as a sophomore. When I was the age of 15 years old, I got the opportunity to meet someone who I'm sure everybody in here knows, Peyton Hillis. He was a tailback at Conway. He was a senior, and I was anymore. This was my first game at Springdale High. And I'm nervous, and first series, they ran a split tailback set, and Peyton Hillis was the lead blocker on me. And unfortunately, I was the beneficiary of him being a bulldozer and me being a 15-year-old little lanky guy. It was very embarrassing. I still hear about it from my friends. But to be honest with you, over the years, it's not as bad because the guy ended up on the cover of John Madden NFL football game. I'm thankful to be a part of a lot of special times at Springdale High. I was thinking earlier, in football, I got to play in every game for 3 years. We only lost 5 games during that time. It was pretty awesome. 4 of those were my sophomore year. I get asked a lot about the team, the 05 Bulldogs. That was a very special team, and everybody knows the 5 and everything. I've met people on vacation. I've met people around the state. I get to talking to them, and I tell them where I'm from. They kind of figure out my age, and I can see them kind of doing the math, and they're like, "When did you play?" "Yeah, I played." "You're on the team?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was on the team." And then they'll say, like, "I'm from some Podunk town, Missouri, or Oklahoma, and we drove to watch you guys." And it was, it's just cool to be known, or to be a part of something that's known like that around the area, around the town. I was lucky enough to be a part of a lot of highs, not many lows over the years at Springdale High. I'm just thankful to be here. Appreciate it.
Our next nominee is a 2008 graduate of Harbor High School. Sydney Foreman Miller was all-conference, all-state, all-Arkansas, Oklahoma, All-Star Awards, and meet of champions in cross-country. She also participated in basketball, where she was a star on the Harbor Wildcats basketball teams in the late 2000s. She graduated from Harbor in 2008. She's the first Harbor girl to ever get a Division I track and field scholarship, and she signed her letter of intent to go to Arkansas State. Graduated from ASU with a bachelor's degree in communication disorders in 2012, and went on to receive her master's degree in communication from ASU in 2014. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Hall of Fame, Sydney Foreman Miller.
I did fall. What an honor it is to be here. I was not expecting this at all. Coach Sandy Wright actually nominated me, so I'm very appreciative. It's crazy how I even ended up in this position in the first place. So I grew up playing sports through Springdale Youth Center. My daddy coached all of my teams. I played t-ball and softball and basketball. I didn't play soccer or volleyball. He didn't know how to play those. I fell in love with basketball, though. That was my number one. I loved practicing, going out in the front driveway and shooting. I just loved it. I was the shortest and scrawniest one out there on the court. So I don't know why I loved it, to be honest, in the beginning, but it was my favorite. I practiced all the time, got on a competitive basketball team in elementary school, and I didn't play very much, but I worked super hard, and then got a little bit taller, not bigger, still scrawny, but I became a decent ball player. I played for Coach Tim Rippey at Central Junior High for 2 years, and he really taught me dedication. determination. Like, you have to go out there, you have to practice super hard all the time to get any better. But he was also the track and field coach. And so all of his teammates, or most all of them, would go out and participate in track. And I thought I was going to go out there and be a sprinter. I thought I was super quick. Was not. That was not my sport. That's whenever I found out that I was better at distance. I had endurance. So I had never thought about running in high school. I had no intentions of doing that. Went on to play basketball for Coach Sandy Wright at Harbor High School, first year it opened. Played all 3 years, loved it as well, but my 10th grade year, one of my basketball teammates, Kim Peak, and her dad, Kim, ran cross country. She kept coming up to me and she was like, "Hey Sydney, you should join the team." They were trying to get enough girls on their team to create a team. I think you needed 5 to make up a team. And I was like, sure, maybe I'll think about it, but never really was serious. But I think about the 5th time that they asked, I was finally like, sure, I'll come out for the cross-country team. And so I ended up just doing that as a favor to her. I went out, I did pretty good. I did well in meets and races, and Kim really pushed me, and really, I got better and better and better, and I ended up running track and field that year too. Got faster and faster, and then my 11th and 12th grade year I ran as well, and I had a different coach that year. The first year I had a super fun coach. His name was Bill Ward, and he would be like, if you do, better than your last race, I'll buy you a Happy Meal. And all of our practices were super fun. He had like card games for practice that we would go and run certain laps for card games. Anyways, my 11th and 12th grade year, I had a different coach, Coach Robert Ferguson. He had great knowledge of track and field. He knew how to train his athletes. He was fantastic. I learned a lot from him as far as running goes. But got faster and faster my junior year, faster my senior year, and then I ended up my running career with the fastest 3,200 meter time in the state of Arkansas. So, pretty cool. I went on to win the 3,200 meter race at the Meet of Champs that year. So, I never in a million years would have thought that I would have been able to do that. But ended up doing that, and then got recruited by a Division I school, Arkansas State University, other side of the state. Rebels. Ran 4 years there, and even though a career in basketball never, shaped out or panned out, I'm really thankful for basketball because it led me to cross country and learning that I had, talent for running. So, went over to Arkansas State, met my husband, Michael. We have 2 kids. So, all in all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that poured into me, my daddy for coaching all of my youth teams, for my mom, she always came to all of my races and meets. She was always there cheering me on. And my sister, not always voluntarily because she couldn't drive back then, but she always came to all of my events as well, and my grandparents. Just thankful for all of them. Thank you to all of my middle and junior and high school coaches, both track and basketball. I wouldn't be here today without the support and encouragement from all of them, so thank you.
Our next inductee is a 2001 graduate of Springdale High School. Josh Farrell, all-conference, all-state, ASGA overall honors. He set the 36-hole scoring record that still stands today in the ASGA at 16 under par. Josh was also part of a 2001 5A West Conference championship team as a senior. Josh went on to the University of Arkansas, where he's a four-year letterman and team captain his senior year. Josh now lives in Dallas and is probably still a pretty good golfer. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. Josh Farrell.
So, not exactly what you think about when you think of Springdale, Arkansas, right? Powerhouse of golf? Not quite. Thank you so much to the foundation for this incredible honor. First, when I found out that I was even nominated, had no idea who in the world would have nominated me. Then I found out later it's the four-time All-American back in the back corner back there. It's my sister. So I've actually I've been to this forum before to watch Paige. I've also been fortunate enough to have the leadership of my father, who is actually in the Arkansas Football Hall of Fame. And then I'm joined tonight by my father-in-law, Clark, who is also in the Springdale Hall of Fame here. So again, thank you for including me. I probably don't deserve it. I am humbled and honored to be joined in the group, though, so thank you. Also, congratulations to the other inductees here. I know that you guys are all enjoying this as much as I am. It's been a fun couple of days remembering kind of, gosh, for me, almost 25 years, which seems like a couple lifetimes ago, right? But it's been a lot of fun to reminisce on kind of memories and experience that we had while we're here. For me, I was a Bulldog, obviously, so I still bleed red, but it's very cool that the foundation is doing this between both schools. So kudos to that. It's been a really fun weekend and a great event. I'm not going to take too much time to, it always feels awkward to me to talk about myself. We did some really cool things while I was in school here at Springdale. Coach Williams is here tonight, everybody, like in the house. Coach Williams is also my golf coach. Don't know if y'all knew that. But not only was he the incredible football coach that he was, he also had to deal with this hard-headed, knucklehead Josh Farrell for a few years on the golf course too. So Coach, good to see you. It was good kind of catching up earlier. Appreciate you being here. I'm sure I didn't get to go around and see everybody tonight, and if I didn't get to see you, hopefully I can hand it out after. But yeah, what a great event. Real briefly, I do want to say a couple things. Although golf may not be the popular sport, right, the one that everybody gravitates to, it certainly grabbed me by the neck and drug me down into the water several times, right? But it's a game that I was addicted to from a young age. I had to make some sacrifices along the way that I do not regret even for a second, because it took me to some really cool places. It took me to some great events. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about life through the game of golf. And it's been unbelievable roller coaster of emotions. Anybody that's in the room that plays golf knows all about that, right? A lot of highs and lows. But I don't know. I can't explain it. It took me by the horns, and I wouldn't. I can't say that I regret it at all. There's a couple of memories that I have in Springdale. Coach, you and I talked about one earlier that we're not going to talk about here on stage. But Joplin, let's just cheers to Joplin, right? We had more W's, I would say, than we had losses, which again, the game of golf, I think is saying a little something, right? So under the leadership that I had, with not only you but also my family, I remember going all the way back to Roy Hobbs at Springdale Country Club, You know, I know this quote isn't technically his, but he used to tell me, don't think, Josh, just do it. You know, a lot of life lessons in the game of golf. Maybe most importantly is that golf is a game of failure, you know, which is important because as you go through life, in my opinion, how many in the room can say that every single day, you know, you do everything right, you know, or everything goes right, which is a cool lesson for me. Like, golf's a game of failure. I'm now joined also by my wife and 2 kids. Bet y'all didn't see this coming. About to be on the spot. So golf's a game of failure. We all fail in life every day, right? Crew, how many % better do we get every day? That's it, right there. So I appreciate the honor. I am thankful for the leadership of the folks in the room, and even folks that are not in the room, for your guidance, support, all of that. And I'm also humbled and thankful that you two have to deal with me as well, because I've taken the lessons that I've learned from the folks that you're seeing here, guys, and that's where I get it from. So hopefully there's a ripple effect, and I can pour myself into those two, and we'll move on down the road. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Also, go Hogs. I know we're a tight game, so it's time to be quick. Go Hogs.
Coach Williams a while. Never came up with a golf coach too? Huh. At this time, I'd like to introduce Springdale Athletic Foundation Board Member Elizabeth Sullivan.
Good evening, my name is Elizabeth Sullivan, and I am proud to be a Springdale Athletic Foundation Board Member. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is a campaign that we launched about a year ago. It's called Fuel and Feet. We have 30% of our residents in Washington County they have food insecurities. And that's our families, that's our kids. And so we are focusing on making sure that they have that pre-game, post-game meal. Okay, and that's the most important for us. If you're hungry, you're not focused, okay? We want them focused and energized and ready to compete in the classroom and on the field. We also focus on their feet. I don't know about you, my kids are growing like weeds, okay? If you had a boy, I don't have a boy, but I heard their feet grow really fast, okay? So we definitely want to make sure that they have the protection, make sure they have the correct shoes for the sport that they're doing, okay? So our Fuel and Feet program was launched a year ago, and we are going to celebrate the impact that it's done. I am proud to introduce Coach Robert Johnson, who's at George Junior High, to come up and speak about it.
First of all, let me just say congratulations to all these inductees. This is my 30th year to be a coach, and Coach Williams, you know, I've heard a lot of stories about you. It's neat to hear those, but congratulations to you inductees. As a coach, we talk about all these little things, and I'm hearing all that little things we talk about, so that's neat to hear that. The foundation, unbelievable. They talk about the feet. We had 15 kids at George that didn't have cleats. In 2 days, Donald Tucker drives up with 15 boxes of cleats. And it just melted my heart. As a coach, you would think, surely kids have cleats. At my school, they don't. So, thank you, Foundation, for what you do. It is amazing. Our kids, we've got a lot of kids that go home to a second language. About 88% of my kids go home to a second language. Football's not that language sometimes. So we're doing things for these kids that's touching their lives. And it's pretty awesome, and we appreciate you guys, what you're doing. Thank you.
That being said, we're going to bust out these beautiful sheets of paper. This is our call to action. We're asking everyone to contribute to our Fuel and Feet program. You can screen take a picture of this and go directly to our PayPal. We're just asking people to help our student athletes in Springdale, and if you want to fill it out, do a pledge, I'll send you an invoice, and you can mail your check in. So I appreciate your time, and Zach, it's back to you.
Our next inductee tonight is 2012 Harbor High School graduate. Caroline Eubanks, 3 years all-conference, 3 years Kern Dream Team, and all-state member of the Arkansas All-Star Team, was recognized as the first Harbor women's basketball player to ever score 1,000 points. She went on to play basketball at Arkansas Tech, named all-conference team, helped them win a GAC title, still holds the Great American Conference record for rebounds in a single game. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Ms. Caroline Eubanks.
Hello. Wow, what a night, what an honor. I was walking through work yesterday, and someone yelled on the floor, "Caroline, is tomorrow the big night?" And the guy beside him said, "Do you have a date?" and the floor erupted, and he said, "Caroline has a date!" And I said, "You guys, I'm just being inducted into the Hall of Fame." No big deal. They were more excited about the date, if I'm being honest. Basketball has always been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. I feel so grateful that a game that I love so much, a game that brought me so much joy, has also brought me so many wonderful opportunities. Opportunities to travel and play at some of the most prestigious gyms in the United States. Opportunities to be influenced by some of the best coaches. A game that earned me a full-ride scholarship to Arkansas Tech University, and a game that has brought me some of my closest friends and fondest memories. Opportunities that are still giving to this day, like being recognized here tonight amongst so many other talented student athletes. I honestly don't feel deserving. I was told that the stories were the best part of this night, so I figured that I would share a few of my own to highlight some of the people that influenced my life and my basketball career the most. Even though I've lived my entire life in Springdale, I did not always attend a school within the Springdale School District. I attended a small private school in Fayetteville, and it was at that school that I developed a love for the game of basketball. My mama. She was my first coach. If you had seen her coaching, you probably would have thought by her intensity and her good old foot stomp that she was coaching a bunch of college girls, not third graders. But she taught us little, some abnormally tall, third grade Pee-wee girls how to be tough. She taught me how to chin that ball, how to block out and rebound, sneak in a few elbows or hip checks when necessary, and how to always compete. I took that hip check move with me all the way to college and set that record for rebounds in a single game, a record that I'm proud to say still holds. 22, if you're wondering. I can remember the Christmas that my daddy put up a basketball goal in the front yard. We spent so many nights out there playing horse, 21, around the world. Lots of the driveway where he's, not me, a brick, a house, lots of nights where he'd say, "Caroline, it's getting dark, it's time to come inside." And I would always say, "Just one more shot, Daddy." Those were the days. I'm thankful for parents, my mama and daddy, that were my constant support, my biggest fans, and sometimes the loudest coaches in the stands. I love y'all so much. I grew up the youngest of 3 sisters. As the baby, I was always trying to keep up. I guess I have them to thank for my competitive side. I can remember watching my 2 older sisters, Chelsea and Elizabeth, play on the varsity team after school and just thinking, oh, I just want to get out there so badly and compete with the older girls. Well, lucky for me, at a school like Fayetteville Christian, they were always looking for girls to step in when it came time to scrimmage. And I was always there on the sidelines, stretched, shoes on, basketball in hand, just waiting for the moment that the coach yelled, "Hey, baby Eubanks, you want to play?" I'll always remember the day with a gym full of cute senior high boys that me, a 6th grader, scored more points than both of my sisters in their practice. I felt so cool. I had finally made it. So soon enough, my sister's summers would revolve around me and my basketball schedule, and I'm so thankful for sisters that did not resent me for it, but instead were so excited to spend their summers in hot gyms cheering me on. Y'all are my best friends. I couldn't stand up here. I'm sorry. I couldn't stand up here tonight and not mention my Mimi and Pawpaw. I wish so badly that they could be here. I know they would be so proud of me. They traveled everywhere with me, did not miss a game. My Pawpaw has gone on to be with the Lord now, but I can still see him in the stands, in his overalls, ready to take on any mean old fan that had an ill word to say about his elbow-throwing, sweet Caroline. It was during my summers of playing at the Springdale All-Star Sports Arena that I first met Coach Sandy Wright. I started off as the big girl on the Blue Bombers, playing against her daughter Kaylee on the Springdale Sonics. Eventually, Kaylee and I stopped competing against each other and were able to play a few tournaments on the same team. I'll never forget, after one of our games, my Mimi came up to me in a panic and she said, "Caroline, who is that little lady over there?" And she pointed at Coach Wright and she said, "She just came up to me and told me that my granddaughter was going to be a wildcat." and I looked at her confused and she said, "But don't you worry, I set her straight so fast. I told her, I don't know about your daughter, but my Caroline's not going to be no wildcat." I still don't think to this day that she fully understood that was the coach of the Springdale Harbor Wildcats. She wasn't calling her granddaughter wild. Well, sure enough, Coach Wright was right. In 2009, at the end of my 9th grade year at Fayetteville Christian, we no longer had enough girls to have a basketball team. So my parents gave me and my middle sister Elizabeth the choice to stay at Fayetteville Christian or to transfer to Springdale Harbor. The choice was easy for me. My dream was to play college basketball. That's what I had always wanted. Of course I wanted to go to Harbor. But I always knew that I did not want to go to a school without my sister. So Busy, thank you for transferring your senior year, leaving all of your friends to go to a huge new school where we knew nobody, just so that I could play basketball. I still remember walking into Harbor that first day of my sophomore year, so nervous. Going in tonight, I thought I had never felt so nervous, and then I had to come up here, and I was like, well, maybe this might be a close second, okay? But here we are. Coach Wright, thank you for being that calming presence on my first day and throughout my entire career at Harbor. Thank you for encouraging me and pushing me to be stronger, be better, and be faster. And finally realizing that after 2 years, no matter how strong I was, no matter how good a shape I was in, a male push-up was never going to be for me. So thank you for letting me always stick to the female ones. Basketball taught me so much. It taught me how to work hard, to fight for something. It taught me how to be a leader and how to be a good team player. And although basketball was always such a huge part in my life, I'm most thankful for coaches and parents that were always there to remind me that my true identity was not in the game that I won a few awards in, Hall of Fame, but that it was in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who has blessed me with the talents and who kept me healthy throughout my entire career. So thank you again to my family, coaches, teachers, teammates, fans that believed in me and invested so much time into me. And thank you to the Springdale Athletic Foundation and the board for this incredible honor. Elizabeth Sullivan and Donald Tucker for planning such a wonderful event. I truly feel so incredibly blessed. So thank you so much, and go Wildcats.
Our next nominee is a 2008 graduate of Harbor High School. Zach Hall, 3-year letterman in baseball, 2-time letterman in golf. Two-time All-State and All-Conference selection, selected to participate in the state All-Star game after his senior year. Went on to the University of Arkansas, two-time letterman there in baseball, graduated early with a bachelor's degree in supply chain management. Was accepted into the Master's Business Administration program at the Sam M. Walton College of Business, which he completed in 2013. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. Zach Hall.
All right, thank you. There's a lot of uncertainties in life, but I'm fairly certain this will be the only athletic Hall of Fame I've ever inducted into. So thank you to the Springdale Athletic Foundation. It is an honor to be here. I met my wife a few years ago, and I told her, and she never really believed me, but I said, hey, I used to be athletic. When the letter came in the mail 6 or 7 months ago, I showed it to her and I said, told you. And she goes, you were a pitcher, right? And that kind of hurt a little bit. But yeah, I lettered twice in golf, but I think the best round I ever shot in high school was like an 80. So Josh, if you're available for lessons, I don't see you up there, and I have to tell him later, I need lessons. I still need lessons. But when I was a kid, I think, if you asked me what I wanted to be, I didn't care about anything except sports. I wanted to be a Springdale Bulldog and an Arkansas Razorback. And then as I got older, they decided to build a second high school. So I ended up being a Harbor Wildcat. And we were the first class to go through there all 3 years, the class of '08. So it's a little bit of a different time. I think some other schools in this region should probably have more than one in their city. Looking at you, Fayetteville, who beat us our senior year in the state championship game. Anyway, I had to mention that. But I grew up wanting to, like I said, I always cared about sports, but I think I really just wanted to play football or basketball, and then I ended up being a lot better at baseball than other sports. But when I was, I think, 12, we were in a state tournament, an all-star state tournament, and our head coach was Gary Marsh. A lot of you probably know Gary and Jody. I think Jody's worked at Springdale and Harbor both for a long time. But we were in the losers bracket, fighting our way through, and Gary told me, he goes, he told the team, he said, we need someone to pitch, we're out of pitching, who wants the ball? And I told Gary, I said, I want the ball. And he told me, he goes, pitch your guts out. And I said, okay. So the next day we won the game. I think I pitched the entire game. I think we actually won the game on a wild pitch that went to the backstop and we threw the kid out at home. That was probably my fault for the wild pitch. But we won the game, and I like to think that Gary's advice in that moment of pitch your guts out, I think I did that my entire career. Coach Helmkamp, where are you? Are you around here somewhere? He's back there. Would you agree? Pitch my guts out. I think that's my legacy, is I left it all out there, gave it all I had. And I'll tell you that I played basketball through 9th grade, and then Coach Eric Burnett was our coach for high school basketball that year. And he said, I told him, I decided I was going to focus on baseball. And my dad, I wasn't 16 yet, my dad drove me to Harbor. And the basketball team was out running sprints in the parking lot in like August, where it's like 100 degrees. I'm not a runner. And I looked at my dad and I said, I think I'm making the right choice to go basketball, focus on baseball. And I went and told Coach Burnett. And he tried to talk me into not quitting the team. I said, hey man, I want to focus on basketball, or baseball, not basketball. And after my signing ceremony, Coach Burnett found me in the hall, put his arm around me and said, you made the right choice. You didn't have a future in basketball. I'm glad he reinforced that decision after a couple of years. But I don't, I will tell you, if you told me Coach Helmkamp would have 5 boys aged 1 through 10 when I was in high school, I would have laughed that off. And I'm so proud that you guys won the state championship last year. Losing that game still haunts me a little bit.
I got hit in the wrist by a line drive and couldn't really throw after that in the third inning. 15 years later, you'd think you'd let it go. You really never do. But I'm so proud of the program you've built. I like to think I helped lay that foundation just a little bit. And it's an honor to be here. Really, really appreciate it. And I didn't see a comment box, Don, but one for next year. I feel like the stage needs to be a little bit taller because I feel like I'm talking up to everybody. Thank you very much. Our next nominee is a 2012 graduate of Harbor High School, Hannah Bender-Ramirez, 4-year varsity softball letterman, 4-time recipient, all-conference honors, 3-time recipient All-State, as well as a member of the All-State tournament team. Played softball at Henderson State, was a member of the 2015 GAC championship team. Graduated from Henderson State with a Bachelor of Science in Education in 2016. Now living in El Paso, Texas, teaching and coaching. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Hannah Bender-Ramirez.
Well, good evening. First off, I just wanted to thank everyone for being here tonight. I truly feel honored to be receiving this recognition. Athletics has always been a huge part of my life, and in many ways has guided me and directed me into who I am today. As many of you know, of course, I played softball at Harvard. I was a 4-year letterman, and I guess we could sum that up by saying I was pretty successful on the diamond. I had the opportunity to then go on and play college ball. The softball field is and always has been a second home for me. It's where I learned to set and meet goals, where I gained confidence in myself, where I, in a sense, I found God and have had the opportunity to minister to others. And you know, I can think back and I can remember my first varsity start. And so I played basketball back in junior high at Central. And I remember we won the regional championship, and so it was like 2 days later, softball season already started, and I think I went to maybe one practice, and then we were playing Banquet High School. It wasn't a great game. I got kind of like tossed in there, right? Like, hey, like freshman, go pitch. And so I did. It wasn't pretty, but a few days later, I got my first start, and we were playing at Rogers High School, and I had 14 strikeouts that night. And that was just kind of setting the tone for the rest of my high school pitching career. And so tonight, I guess as we reminisce and share success of the past, I think it's important to acknowledge the people in my life who encouraged me, who went along on that journey with me. And so I think most importantly, my family, right? They deserve the biggest thank you, really from the very start. So I saw my older siblings, all my siblings are here tonight. I saw my older brother and my older sister playing multiple sports, especially Rachel. Probably wouldn't have said this looking back, but everything she did, I was like, I'm gonna do that too. Like, I'm gonna play softball, I'm gonna play basketball. And so I did, right? And they always showed up. My parents especially, they always showed up. My dad, when I was little, would be out there and he'd try to catch for me. It went pretty well until I started throwing a bunch of movement pitches. He's like, okay, I'm not catching another curveball or another ice ball. So he was like, never mind, I'll take you to pitching lessons. And so he took me to pitching lessons. And my parents were always there on those long nights, or those long weekends out on the field. And you know, it's funny, when we were little, so me and my twin brother, like, we were pretty competitive back then. It is what it is, we were twins. One day he was in the newspaper for like some event when we were kids. And my dad remembers this, he loves to tell the story. Micah was in the newspaper and I wasn't, and I was kind of bitter about it. I was like, you're in the newspaper, like, man, I'm gonna be in the newspaper so many times, like, you're not even gonna be able to count. And sure enough I was. My dad probably has all of those newspaper articles. I think he would probably tell you his favorite one was from, to mention Fayetteville. When we were playing Fayetteville High School at Fayetteville, and we beat them for the first time, and it was like, your ice in your veins. My dad probably still has the article. Yeah, he does. It's not yes. And so it was just a wonderful time to be able to play sports. The other big thank you, of course, would go to my teammates, my coaches. My coaches at Central Junior High, even though I didn't keep playing basketball, Coach Neal has been like my go-to coach. Like I'll still reach out to her whenever I need like coaching advice. And of course, Coach Lawson at Harvard, and all of my teammates. I see that coaches really just go above and beyond. So all the coaches in here tonight, you guys really are the true heroes. And I see that now as a coach. So I am especially grateful to have that same opportunity to get to pour into my girls, my students, my athletes, to kind of translate and implement all of those things that I learned being an athlete here in Springdale. It's funny, my husband and I were just talking about that, so shout out to my husband, he gets it, like he has a wife for a coach. For my son, he loves to be at the ball field. Like he'll be over there and he'll see Mama, and he's like, Mama, you're next. Like, Mama's turn. He's 2, so he doesn't get that I'm not playing. He's like, why are you not hitting? Why are you not pitching? He's cute. But that being said, I recognize the sacrifices that it takes to develop a program and to continue a strong athletic program and a strong culture. And so once again, I want to commend everybody in the Springdale Athletic Foundation just for striving to meet all of the needs of these students, of these student athletes, and committing to it. So again, I thank you so much for this honor. Thank you for everyone for being here. Thank you to the board for voting me in. I hope everybody is able to enjoy tonight as much as I am.
Our next inductee is a 2005 graduate of Springdale High School. Angela Turner helped lead the team to 4 state tournament appearances, 2 times All-State. Played softball from Missouri Southern State University, graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Education degree. She's worked in education since then, currently a physical education teacher in Neosho, Missouri. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Angela Turner.
Public speaking is not my thing. That's why I coach and teach. All of those people are young, small children. So I will keep this short and sweet. I am very thankful and honored to be here tonight to be recognized. Thank you to Kirby Henderson, my former teammate. She is the one who nominated me. And thank you to the foundation. I got to see one of my favorite coaches I've ever had on the softball diamond, Coach Karen Wilson, here to surprise me tonight. It's because of people like Coach Wilson who pushed me to be great that I am where I am today. I also need to thank a lot of baseball boys because actually they took me under their wing when I showed up in Springdale in 2nd grade. They showed me how to play the game, and then Coach Wilson took me under her wing in high school when I flipped over to softball. So thank you to them. I would like to thank my mom. Definitely. She has taken more baseballs off the thigh as I thought I wanted to be a baseball pitcher back in the day. She has since retired from her position. My father, who is no longer with us, he spent many hours and out of frustration would hit the ball harder. So no doubt that I was a really great third baseman because of him. Again, I am very honored to be among such amazing athletes and coaches, and thank you for having me tonight.
Our next inductee is a 1998 graduate of Springdale High School. James Faber, 3-year varsity letterman and a wide receiver for the Springdale Bulldogs. At the time, he was the youngest player to ever suit up for the Bulldogs at just 14 years old, opening his high school career with touchdowns in back-to-back games against 3-time defending state champion, #1 nationally ranked Pine Bluff Zebras. In 1997, he was a AAA West All-State football player, Curve Dream Team All-Star, and he was on the Hootens preseason 1990-17. Played football at the University of Central Arkansas, graduated in 2003 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Speech Communications with an emphasis in public relations. I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. James Baber.
Okay, that's how I know I'm home. It's Baber and not Barber. Got a lot of barbers on the road over the years, and Mom and Dad took that personally. I did too. Look, certainly an honor. I took a lot of pride in my name, and I took a lot of pride in representing this community and being a part of these programs. And it means a great deal to receive this honor tonight. I want to thank the committee for your consideration. I want to thank Brett Hobbs for the nomination. Brett has done a absolutely phenomenal job of being an ambassador to Springdale. He's reached out to a lot of the older guys, and certainly I think culture. Great companies, great organizations, great programs, they have a strong culture. And a lot of that comes from history. And Brett's done a tremendous job of embracing that. So I want to say thanks to Brett tonight. I want to congratulate all of this year's inductees. It's an honor to go with this class. Me and Andy, we were a few years ago, we were last century, man. So I'm listening to everybody talk, and I'm like, wow, I'm getting up there. But it's certainly an honor, Andy, to go on with you. You're one of my heroes, man. I enjoyed watching you play over the years. I want to take a moment and honor my wife, Megan. She moved on me. I don't know if she's over here. Megan and I have been together for 25 years. We were together during that magical state championship run in 1998. We were dating then, and of course she and I were together all through my collegiate career at UCA. And I was thinking about this on the drive up. This morning, we've been down at a dance competition. We were driving back, and it was iffy. As it pertains to athletics, when we were starting out, she came to a baseball game. It wasn't really a date, she was just kind of ride home with me, and we were playing Rogers. And they had a good squad that year, and I was a relief pitcher, and the game was going on, and continued to get a little tight. And I remember coming in, or getting ready to go in, and the bases are loaded, and it's tied up. And I was pretty jacked. I was excited, and I had good stuff that day too. I had a lot of pop. It was one of those days where on the song you could hear the scenes and then the pop. And I go out there, I get loose, I'm on the mound. First pitch, dude took up the scoreboard and closed out the day. And that was it. That's all I got that day. It was like the first time she ever came to see me play, and I was like, okay, so it's awkward, like driving home. I was like, hey, we should go get something to eat. And so we went to that McDonald's over on 412, and we order, and we go in that area where you sit and the TV's on, and she goes, hey, look, you're on the news. And I was like, for a minute, I was like, awesome. And then I turned around, and it was like, it's like being on the other side of that scene in The Natural, like where the sparks are flying and everybody's cheering for the guy, except I was the other dude. I threw it, But she stuck with me. She didn't bail. And she's still here, and those are our daughters. There's Kennedy, Macy, and Kiara. And we're so proud of them. Could not be more proud of you girls.
My baby.
That's kind of like the Ricky Bobby thing. Woo, love that one. I kind of feel like Ricky Bobby up here right now. I'm not really sure what to do. And I haven't seen a movie since, you know, that one, when it came out, with kids. It's just like, yeah, we're always somewhere. You know, girls, one thing I want to say to you tonight, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And, you know, when I had my initial thoughts about having the opportunity to be a part of this, you know, what I wanted to say to you is that your athletic journey is going to be brief. I know that you're all very involved with athletics and enjoying that, as you should. But I have shirts that are older than my entire athletic career. It's true, right? You know, and it goes by quickly. But the thing that stays with you are the life lessons and you know, the things that the mentors provide you with, the character that you develop, and you know, I want you to be mindful of that as you're on your own journey, because those things stay with you for a lifetime. And that's really what this event is about tonight. It feels like, you know, it's a lot of individual, you know, accomplishments and achievements. It's really about this community and what this platform provides for everyone. So just be mindful of that as you're on your own journey. You know, it's learning opportunities. I have a lot of people I need to thank tonight. My mom and dad. Look, we've talked about this a lot. You guys never missed a game. I don't even know that you missed a practice. You guys were always there for me. Never let me down. The thing, though, that I think stands out the most to me is that it wasn't what you did, it's what you didn't do. You were not objective when it came to me. And what I mean by that is that, you know, coaches, they can be objective. Teachers, they can be objective. Peers are going to be objective. They're going to let you know when you fail. You guys were just staunchly, you had my back. I mean, like, I couldn't mess up. And that's undervalued. It's nice to have a safe place, you know, when you get home. And, you know, no matter how badly I messed up, I can never let you guys down. So I love you guys. I also want to thank or recognize Coach Kenny Stevenson. Coach Kenny, I was a Viking. He had an amazing impact on my life. Certainly thankful for Coach Kenny. Coach Fred Hartsfield. You know, I go to a lot of softball games, and you hear people say, "Hey, big hitter, big spot, nobody better." I feel that way about Fred Hartsfield. He was the perfect individual to have, you know, with that age group. Just an amazing mentor. Coach Vaughn, Darren Vaughn at Central, he was the first person that wasn't my mom or dad who had my back like that. You know, he went in the stands one time after I was being heckled. We got him back. It's good. It's off the record. It's been 30 years. I can't go get him. Coach Steve Price. He actually texted me tonight. He's not going to be able to be here, but look, playing for the Gators. You know, that was really where I learned more about selfless ambition and caring more about team chemistry than individual performance. Coach David McGinnis. I was very immature when I got to you. I was young, I was 14. And he demonstrated a tremendous amount of patience with me, just like he did in '98 when we got off to a slow start in baseball, but you held it together and you know, kept believing in us, and we, you know, made it into the state tournament and ended up winning the whole thing as the lowest seed. So I appreciate you, Coach. Coach Strubing. I didn't have a chance to play for Coach Strubing here in Springdale, but I did at UCA. He was my tight end coach in my junior season, and just an amazing mentor. Certainly thankful for him. I needed some Springdale in my life at that point, and he provided that. And Coach Gerald Williams. So we were talking about this a minute ago. My journey with Coach Williams was started off a little different. You know, I came in, I was quarterback and a defensive end in junior high, and I had the opportunity to go to 7-on-7 camp before my sophomore season, and I didn't expect to play. There was no thought of actually getting onto the field. We'll hit that in a minute. I didn't expect to get onto the field, and we had a player go down with injury who was playing safety, and Coach Williams turned around and he looks at me, and I was a quarterback, and he was like, "Hey, get in there and safety." And I never played safety, so I didn't understand the coverages or reads or anything. And I was like, "But I'm not going to tell him no. It's Coach Williams. I mean, you can't do that." So I jumped out there, and the only thing I knew to do was catch the ball. So I picked off like 3 passes, and he kind of cocked his head, and he looked at me, and he says, "Okay, hey, get in here at receiver." So I jumped in at receiver, and he says, "Run out." So I ran out and caught the ball, kept my feet in bounds. He says, "Hey, run post." And so I ran post, and I caught a touchdown. And as we were walking off the field that day, he said, "Hey, you're a receiver." And I was like, "Okay." In my mind, I'm like, he doesn't know who I am. I'm a quarterback. It's okay. It'll be all right. So we get to, I was talking about that earlier. I'm a quarterback, right? And so we get to fall camp, and I'm down with the sophomores, and it's, we get through the first half of 2 days, and in the second half, Coach Williams calls me up to the varsity field, and he says, "Hey, jump in there, receiver." I said, "Oh, okay." And he says, "Run and go." I'm like, "All right." And so I blew by the defender, and we had a quarterback named Jim Ed Reed, who is an absolute legend and just could throw the ball as far as he wanted to. So he unhinges a pass, and the only thing I know to do is catch the ball, right? So I'm running, and I'm watching the ball, and I watch it down in my hands, and BAM! And it was just lights out. And I kind of come to my wherewithal, and I look up about a quarter mile from where he threw the ball from, and everybody's pointing and laughing, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I turn around, and it was this red frame, and it was the lineman chutes. It was a metal frame. Some of you guys probably remember that. Andy, you probably remember that, where they would teach the linemen to fire off and stay low, and I had gotten depleted by it, just absolutely obliterated. And, concussion protocol was probably different back then. I sprint back. I'm 14 years old. I was really young, and so I, just kind of humiliated, and I run back past everybody, and they're, laughing and pointing. Kind of toss the ball. I'm standing over the side. Coach Williams kind of walks over, and he had noticed something that nobody else had noticed. And he leans down and says, "Look, if you can take that hit and hang on to the ball, you can play receiver for me." And I did. I held on to the ball, and then I had an opportunity to play varsity from there on out. And it's just an amazing opportunity to have the opportunity to play for the greatest coach in the greatest program in the history of the state of Arkansas was, it was just truly a blessing. I'd love to stand up here and tell all these interactive stories, but the truth is most of what I remember about my interaction with Coach Williams was nonverbal. It was telepathic. It was weird. He would just look at us, and we all knew what to do. Everybody. It didn't matter how old you were. It's like some weird movie. You just grow up and I know what that look means. You know what to do. And everybody in Springdale came up that way. And as I've gotten older, what I recognize is that that's culture. We were all on the same page. We were then, and I feel like we are today. We have some amazing coaches. Coach Katie White, My cousin, super proud of her at Harbor. Coach Brett Hodge, who I mentioned earlier, really proud of what Brett's doing. Coach Darren Price, Gator, my Gators teammate and a great friend, and obviously having a tremendous amount of success. And then my brother-in-law, Coach Dustin Helmkamp, who just won state championship in baseball. And so, you know, that culture is strong. We continue to do amazing things here in Springdale, and I'm certainly thankful. Look, I left home, you know, when I was 17. When I got to college, I was the only guy who couldn't sign his own permission slip to play. And then I got busy, like, you know, living life, and then, you know, career, and you're on airplanes for like 10 years, and then, bam, you got all these kids, and my mom has this shirt, you know, and it says, "I'm sorry, I can't, you know, my granddaughters have volleyball, softball, or dance." And I know all you guys get that, and it's so true, we get really busy. But I'm so thankful to have kind of been pulled back into this Springdale ecosystem. It's a perfect time in my life to have that opportunity, and it feels good to be home. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
I got them all, right? We got them all? One more? Donald provided me with the notes, so if I'm a little underprepared, Donald is to blame. I found it. We have one more. Sorry, Jacob, that's my bad. Our final inductee tonight is a 2010 graduate from Harbor High School, played on the 2007 to 2009 Harbor High School football teams, culminating in Harbor's first state championship. Man is a smart guy. BBA in economics from the University of Central Arkansas, where he played football for the Bears. And he has a master's in science from Johns Hopkins University. Continues to work at UCA as a policy analyst. Our final inductee tonight, I present to you for induction into the Springdale Athletics Hall of Fame, Mr. Jacob Bundrick.
Hope everyone's having a good evening. I just want to say thank you. This is a really tremendous honor. You know, there's a lot of great people and a lot of great athletes that have come through Springdale, and to be considered among the best of them is just incredibly humbling. I mean, I can't say anything better than that. It's just extremely humbling. So thank you for this honor. You know, football is the ultimate team game. It really is. And when I think back about my time playing ball, I immediately think about my teammates. And that was the best group of guys that I've ever been around in any sport, at any level of the sport that I played. And I'm just so thankful to be able to play with those guys. I think one of the things that made us so special as a team is that we took a lot of pride in what we did. It meant something to play for Harvard. It meant something to be from Springdale. And we wore that with a badge of honor. And I'm just so thankful you know, for that opportunity to be with those guys. We pushed each other hard. You know, that was back when Harvard was still new, and we didn't have a stadium. We didn't have a practice field some of the times. I still remember picking rocks and thistles out of that grass patch we had out there. There was that heck of a crown on that field. You know, you didn't have to worry about water sitting on it. It was going to run off. Don't worry about that. You know, we'd be up. We had practice before school started at 6 in the morning over there, and I got real cold in November. I wasn't used to that in high school, you know, but we did, and it meant something. And so I'm just thankful for that. We had a great group of coaches, led by Coach Wood. They did a really good job of putting us in good position to be successful, coaching us as young men, turning us into men, and I'm thankful for that. I think about that defense we had. We're pretty good, and I think really reflected the attitude of those defensive coaches, Coach Simpson, Coach Moreland, Coach Taylor. We're a bunch of throwback, nasty dudes that ran the ball and got there with bad intentions, and it was fun to go out hunting every Friday night. That's what it was, and I think fondly about that time. I still have nightmares about those 5-man sleds. Coach Simpson knew how to work us on those, but I'm still recovering from that. And then finally, just want to say thank you to my family over here, my wife Lydia, my little girl Maddie, my sister-in-law Lacey, and Mom, thank you for loving me, supporting me the only way a mom can. Caleb, a lot of that competitive nature, I get that some when I'm teaching, college kids supply and demand, so don't worry, I'm used to that. At any rate, Caleb, thanks, man. A lot of that competitive drive comes back to, being a little out in the backyard, one-on-one with Dad as the all-time quarterback, just every day after school out there, just playing. And I want to say a special thank you to my dad. He was killed a year ago, and I swore I wasn't going to cry when I said this part. And I know he would really love to be here to celebrate this. He would have been proud. And so, I wouldn't be here without him and all the love and sacrifice that he poured into me as a person and supporting every endeavor we had. So I'm just really thankful for all the support, all my teammates, all my coaches, and thank you all for this great event. It's been a great night. So y'all enjoy the rest of the evening, and I'll turn it back over to the mic man here. So.
I've been doing this for 9 years, and I've gotten to do a lot of this. The district's allowed me to do a lot of really cool things, but this is the coolest thing I do every single year. If I could have all of the nominees with their plaques come forward, and if you wouldn't mind, just right here in front of the podium. Come on, don't be shy. I know y'all did this last night, but we're going to do it for real this time. And I'm going to get out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2023 Hall of Fame inductees. If we can have the inductees split up, we're going to get photos in front of each of the school's banners. Randy, if you wouldn't mind just splitting up, and that's going to conclude what we're doing here tonight. Donald? Donald says no.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. The silent auction will close in about 10 minutes. You see something you cannot live without, please go over there and get your name on it and bid for it. Help us raise some more money. Thank you guys very much.
Everybody look right here. Right here. Big smile.